From Left, from Columbia Pictures / Everett Collection, from copyright 20th Century Fox Film Corporation / Everett Collection, from Warner Brothers / Everett Collection. There's nothing new on Netflix next month, April Fools. There is, of course, a large crop of content both dropping onto and exiting from the platform come April 1st. Read on to learn about the best of what Netflix is bringing to the screen next month, as well as what to catch now, before it fades into the black hole of the internet. Movies. What's arriving? Bad Boys. Like all of director Michael Bay's films, Bad Boys is loud and dumb, but stylish. Sometimes, though, the loudness and dumbness intermingle with the stylishness in just the right way, as in this 1995 buddy cop action movie, featuring Aaliyah Will Smith at the start of his movie career, partnered with an even liar Martin Lawrence, close to the start of his. Both were just about to wrap up their runs on popular sitcoms, and they seem eager and ready to tackle film stardom, energetically bantering and bad boying through Bay's Magic Hour Miami. This was also Téa Leoni's first major film role, which she takes to with aplomb. Again, the movie is loud and dumb, but it's the fun kind of loud and dumb. A balance Bay is able to strike every once in a while. Maybe pair this with another Miami set Bay film, the bizarrely good Fargo riff Pain and Gain. It won't be a day for high art, but not every day can be. Cabin Fever. It seems dumb but fun is going to be a theme this month. Fitting for April, maybe. This 2002 gross-out horror movie, about a flesh-eating disease infecting a bunch of horned-up 20-somethings on a weekend getaway, is most notable for two things. First, it was the directorial debut of horror mainstay Eli Roth, who here introduces his taste for both viscerally repellent imagery and snickering humor. A particular aspect of that humor is the second distinguishing thing about Cabin Fever. It famously concludes with a terrible fake-out joke that is so incongruous and absurd and perhaps offensive that it almost feels like a middle finger to the audience. Because of that, or despite that, or some mix of both, the movie has become a cult hit, spawning a prequel, a sequel, and a 2016 remake. The original is worth a watch as a cultural oddity, if you can stomach it. Perhaps one last enticement might be that it stars Ryder Strong, the great heartthrob of Friday night television for all you 90s kids out there. Terminator 3, Rise of the Machines. While we're on the topic of endings, Jonathan Mostow's 2003 film has a dark and nifty one. Too bad the film is pretty much no longer part of the Terminator canon. Didn't Terminator Genisys wipe all that out? Who really knows with time travel stuff? The point is, T3 is a strange and oft-forgotten installment in the franchise, pitting a post-adolescent John Connor, Nick Stahl, against a female Terminator, as much as robots have gender, I guess, and pairing him with a character played by Claire Danes. Yes, Claire Danes was in a Terminator movie. Also interesting is that this was Arnold Schwarzenegger's last film before he was sworn in as governor of California later that year. In that way and others, Rise of the Machines is an odd, engaging time capsule of a movie, and its startlingly grim conclusion is a rare downer for big tentpole filmmaking. 7 Pounds. A Confession. I've never seen this much maligned 2008 drama, a movie so mocked and reviled upon its release that its star, Will Smith, had to lie low for 3.5 years, then win back moviegoers' hearts with another Men in Black movie. Now the movie that nearly killed Will Smith's career will be on Netflix, and I'm more than curious to finally lay eyes on it. Adding to that curiosity is the fact that the plot involves some sort of jellyfish. Let's all promise to suffer through this on some rainy April day and try to figure out what anyone was thinking 10 years ago. What's leaving? Leap year, April 15th. I recently rewatched this 2010 romantic comedy, and while it's by no means good, it is a fascinating artifact of its time. The big studios effectively stopped making romantic comedies shortly after this one, so the film plays a bit as a last, desperate gasp. Sadly, it doesn't make the case for itself, nor for its genre. Director Ronan Tucker had fared much better a few years prior with Shop Girl, a movie as wise and wistful as this one is grating. Tucker's presence was surely part of the reason star Amy Adams agreed to do the movie. She was hot off Enchanted when she signed on, and had Doubt and Julie and Julia on the way. By the time Leap Year came out, Adams had a second Oscar nomination and was set to be Lois Lane, so this movie gets understandably overlooked in the Amy Adams narrative. But it is worth a revisit, if only to remember when every actress needed a movie like this on her early stardom resume. Also, Matthew Good is cute in it. TV. The Boss Baby, Back in business, April 6th. Listen, if Boss Baby the movie can be nominated for an Oscar, then anything is possible. As part of its deal with DreamWorks Animation, also responsible for the TV version of Trolls, which debuted in January, Netflix is bringing the bossy, suit-wearing business baby back for another round of corporate hijinks. None of the film's voice cast, not even Alec Baldwin, is returning to this version, which means the new Boss Baby is already starting from behind, but kids likely won't notice the difference. If it's slightly more educational fare you crave, then families can also try Season 2 of The Magic School Bus, April 13th, starring the voiced talents of Baldwin's frequent SNL foil Kate McKinnon. Lost in Space, April 13th. Every month now, it seems that Netflix puts a massive push behind at least one of its new original shows. In April, that show is the latest adaptation of the misadventures of the Robinson family. The 1812 novel The Swiss Family Robinson has inspired a number of filmed adaptations, most notably the 1960 Disney film of the same name. The story of a shipwrecked family was also given a galactic update in 1965, with 3 seasons of the groovy Lost in Space. That, in turn, led to an infamously terrible movie remake in 1998, starring Matt LeBlanc and Heather Graham, after an aborted attempt to get another TV series off the ground in 2004. Lost in Space finally has the reimagining it deserves with this latest iteration, starring the underrated Molly Parker, Deadwood, House of Cards, as science-minded Maureen Robinson and, crucially, Parker Posey as the scheming Drive. Posey's starkly comedic, unhinged performance, channeling her House of Yes and Josie and the Pussycat Stays, should be enough to get anyone to tune in, but the rest of this glossy, well-made series meets her on every level. Troy, Fall of a City, April 6th. Continuing its status as a premier importer of high-end British television, sorry, BBC America, Netflix stirs this sword and sandal epic from David Farr, Associate Director of the Royal Shakespeare Company and the writer behind the much ballyhooed Night Manager. Forget your Brad Pitt Troy. This version tells the story of the well-known invasion from the perspective of the Trojans, who are often the maligned Easterners in a story about heroic Greeks. Make all the comparisons to Game of Thrones you want, Farr will have none of it. His thoughtful answer on that front to The Guardian hints at the kind of intellectual war epic audiences are in for. Game of Thrones is fundamentally based on a Machiavellian, almost Jacobean, idea of power and intrigue. By contrast, our story is perhaps a more melancholy one. Our characters are driven by great passions, but they're not cynical about the world, and there's nothing cynical about the story we wanted to tell. Farr has also stacked his cast with a number of little-known, to Americans, actors, and though his colorblind casting of both Achilles and Zeus drew some protest in the UK, US, audiences will no doubt be eager to get to know an entire roster of new faces. The Letdown, April 21st. For fans of quirky Australian comedy and shows that hit a bit too close to home, this zippy, 7th season gives a realistic look at what the first flush of motherhood is actually like. From writers Sarah Skeller and Alison Bell, who also stars, the show follows Audrey Bell, as she tries to tackle the sleepless nights and relationship strain of having a first child. The show also looks at what becoming a new mother can do to a woman's relationship with her own mother. If the title alone doesn't give you a clue, this is hardly a rosy, cutesy story. Instead, it's a clear-eyed take on parenthood, told hilariously, the sort that many mothers, and fathers, have been telling their friends for years. No shame in it. Having a baby takes a tremendous toll. Full list of arrivals. April 1. A sort of family. Along came Polly. Bad Boys. Battlefield Earth. Beethoven's Christmas Adventure. Big Time. Body of Lies. Cabin Fever. Cabin Fever 2. Spring Fever. Cats and Dogs. Cold Mountain. Dare to be Wild. Deep Blue Sea. Fish People. Friday Night Lights. Jackass 2.5. Life is Beautiful. Looney Tunes. Back in Action. Mortal Kombat. Nancy Drew. Disney's Pirates of the Caribbean. Dead Man's Chest. Scarface 7. Sin City. Speed Racer. Terminator 3, Rise of the Machines. The Duchess. The Family Man. The Flintstones and Viva Rock Vegas. The Iron Giant. The Joel McHale Show with Joel McHale. The Lost Boys. Queen of the Damned. The Spy Next Door. Wakfu, Season 3. April 2. Loppy Lotto, Season 1. April 3. Fairy is the New Black. April 5. Behind the Curtain, Todrick Hall. Despicable Me 3. April 66. Balloons. Amateur Fastest Car, Season 1. Money Heist, Part 2. My Next Guest Needs No Introduction with David Letterman, Jay's Orbiter 9. Ram Dass, Going Home. Sundogs. The Fourth Company. The Boss Baby, Back in Business, Season 1 to Duloque Serie de Lucas Lorient Troy, Fall of a City. Season 1 April 724 Hours to Live April 9 Amo. Season 1 April 10 Greg Davis, You Magnificent Beast April 12 Pickpockets April 13 Chef's Table, Pastry Come Sunday I Am Not an Easy Man Lost in Space. Season 1 The Magic School Bus Rides Again. Season 2 April 15 Lakeview Terrace 7 pounds April 17 The Chalet. Season 1 The Honeymoon Stand-Up Special, Collection April 18 Friend Request Pale A April 19 Charité. Season 1 Chasing the Dragon April 20 Agratsuko. Season 1 Dope. Season 2 Dude Kodachrome Mercury 13 Spy Kids, Mission Critical. Season 1 April 21 The Letdown. Season 1 April 24 Call the Midwife, Series 6, Christmas Special 2017 Kevin James, Never Don't Give Up April 25 Bill Nye, Science Guy Psychokinesis April 273%, Season 2 Bobby Kennedy for President Candy Jar Holy Gilly The Man Who Knew Infinity The New Legends of Monkey. Season 1 The Week of Full List of What's Leaving April 130 Days of Night 88 Minutes Ace Ventura, Pet Detective Ace Ventura, When Nature Calls American Pie 2 Apollo 13 Batman and Robin Batman Forever Batman Returns Caddies Charlie and the Chocolate Factory Cool Runnings Death Sentence Dolphin Illegal vs. Shark John Mulaney. New in Town Never Let Me Go Set Up Small Soldiers The Dukes of Hazzard The Men Who Stare at Goats The Pursuit of Happiness The Shawshank Redemption The Whole 9 Yards Wild Wild West April 3 Starry Eyes April 5 The Howl of the Nightingale April 12 The Emperor's New Clothes April 15 Happy Tree, Friends Leap Year April 16 Son of God April 17 Z Storm April 20 The Exorcism of Molly Hartley April 21 The Prestige April 22 Exit Through the Gift Shop April 26 Kung Fu Panda 3 April 27 Begin Again Get Vanity Fair's HWD newsletter Sign up for essential industry and award news from Hollywood, full screen photos. The Crown Season 2 photos Prince Philip and Queen Elizabeth II catching a moment together alone. Photo, courtesy of Alex Bailey / Netflix. The royal couple exits an airplane. Photo, courtesy of Stuart Hendry / Netflix. Princess Margaret takes a cool look over her shoulder. Photo, courtesy of Alex Bailey / Netflix. Trouble brews over the strained royal relationship. Photo, courtesy of Netflix.